Hi, Imogen, your posts are keeping me connected to the simplicity of life and love. I'm struggling with being repeatedly ill, kind of like a really knackering flu right now, and have a big workload, so worry about everything. It's emotionally draining and I feel really sad. Is it all connected? I wonder if there's something you could help me think about to get through the demands of caring for many people in their workplace. At the beginning of the summer, and I'm sure many of you were aware of this, but I was repeatedly getting sick. And I don't normally get sick. I used to get very sick in my childhood. And I've been very healthy for a number of years now. But I was repeatedly getting sick, little things, nothing serious, just as this person's speaking, the flu, things like that. I got COVID for the first time, things like that. And I had to really do a little bit of like, okay, what's going on here? A little bit of a check-in with myself. And I realized that I was not listening to myself. I was overriding my needs again and again and again. And so my body was fighting back and going, no, you're not going to listen. I'm going to keep ringing my bell. And it's hard to listen, particularly when you feel like you have people relying on you, you have outside, responsibilities and a sense of busyness. But in my experience, if you don't listen, it just gets worse. I don't mean to say this to put the fear of God in you or whatever or anything like that. I say this to just remind us all that one of the kindest things and best things that we can do for not only ourselves, but for the world as well, is to listen. It's a little bit like that thing when you go on an airplane, they say, put your air mask or your face mask on first before you help others. If you've got nothing left in the fuel tank, you're of no use. And it's a hard thing because we're so badly sort of given messaging of being selfish. And being selfish if I don't listen to what's needed, what's being asked of me. To set some good boundaries, to take some time. But in my experience, if you do start to listen and you do take what's needed, this is where you gain your unbounded energy to be able to support others. Have to be willing to fill up the well. And I mean that in terms of the body. It's a little bit like running on empty in a car. Or not taking it to the mechanic for a service. We can run for a while on that. We can run for a good while on that. But eventually life sort of catches up to us in that way. To not see that as selfish, but actually to see that as necessary and really nourishing to not just ourselves, but everyone. That we can be of more service, of more help when we have a full tank, or at least not an empty tank. And the other thing I want to touch on actually is it's easy when we are exhausted to try and fix it on the mind level, to try and fix it on a doing level. And the phrase that comes to me right now is to give it back to life, to give it back to grace. To let all my activity and all my action and all my doing be life's doing, be grace's doing, be God's doing, whatever word you want to use there, I don't mind. But it's that. It's that emptying out of your sense of I'm in control of this and I need to get this right and I gotta run, I gotta do this, I gotta do that, I got it. And it's exhausting. So to empty yourself out and to let your heart be empty of the woes of struggle and control. And instead be filled up with life as it must move. Be filled up with love. There's a phrase, I'm sure it comes from the Bible or somewhere like that. I don't know where it comes from. Someone else will be able to tell me, I'm sure. But maybe I don't know where it comes from. Anyway, it's here now. And what is here now is let it not be my will be done, but thy will be done. And of course, that gets associated with a guy in the sky or some other person, or some other God or some other entity. But let's not be concerned with the otherness of that. Instead, the recognition of it's not my will, my personal will, my control, my effort, thy will, life's will, not as an attachment to a person or a thing or an object or a God or anything, but just life itself, the will of life, the movement of life, will as a description of movement. Lay your exhaustion, lay your doing, lay your war, lay all of it at the feet of life. Let life carry that. Let life carry you. It is anyway. It's just we think that's not how it is. There's where we get into a struggle with what is.